Dear students, welcome to 8th standard CBSE social science class. Today in this class I am going to take geography unit number 2, land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources. This is the part 2 of the lesson. In the previous class we had learnt about Mumbai and Peter's family. They were staying in the different parts of the world in Africa and New Zealand. They are having the different lifestyle in those places. Mamba's family owns a piece of rocky land around their small hut. Mamba's father can barely grow some maize and beans on it after toiling hard. This is not enough to feed their family for a whole year. And Peter, whose family lived in the New Zealand, so what they having the sheep in their farms, and they taking care of their sheep. Their sheep yard is situated in a wide grassy plain with hills in the far distance. So that kind of difference we can see in the different parts of the world. This differences is in the differences in the quality of land, soil, water, natural vegetation, animals, and the usage of technology. The availability of such resources is the main reason places differ from place to another. So next we had learnt about the land. Land is most important natural resources. And what are the uses of land? We had learnt the uses of. We are using the purpose of agriculture, forestry, mining, building houses, roads, and setting of the industries, etc. So it is determined by the physical factors such as topography of soil, climate, minerals, and availability of the water, etc. And the land can be classified on the basis of ownership as private land and also the community land. And conservation of land resources we had learnt in the previous classes. And the landslide, what do you mean by the landslide? It is the movement of the rock or earth down a slope, we call it landslide. They often take place in conjunction with earthquakes, floods, and volcanoes. A prolonged spell of rainfall can cause heavy landslide that can block the flow of river for quite some time, etc. That's why the landslide will happen in so many times. And the how can we avoid the landslide? So various steps we had to take. First one is hazard mapping to locate areas prone to landslides, and construction of a retention wall to stop landform slipping, increase in the vegetation cover to arrest landslide, and the surface drainage control works to control the movement of landslide along with rain water and spring flows. So though we can do those types of prevention to avoid the landslides. So next in the today's topic, let's know about the soil. So what is soil? The thin layer of grainy substance covering the surface of the earth is called soil. So soil means it is a thin layer, a grainy substance. It covers the surface of the earth. We know what is soil, is it? It is closely linked to land. Yes. Landforms determine the types of soil. So the landforms determine the types of soil. So we can see various types of soil all over the earth, is it? Soil is made up of organic matter, minerals, and weathered rocks found on the earth. The soil is made up of, yes, organic matter, minerals, and weathered rocks found on the earth. This happens through the process of weathering. The soil formation happens through the process of weathering. The right mix of minerals and organic matter make the soil fertile. What make the soil fertile? the right mix of minerals and organic matter. So in this picture we can see the soil profile. First one, top soil with humus and vegetation. Then second part, subsoil with the sand, silt and clay. Third one, weathered rock material. Last one, parent rocks. Very important, the parent rock. Okay, next, factors of soil formation. What are the factors we can see while soil formation? The major factors of soil formation are the nature of parent rock and climatic factors. So we all seen in the previous picture, that is the parent rock in the last bottom. Is it the parent rock? The nature of that parent rock and the climatic factors are the major factors of soil formation. First one is nature of the parent rock and another one is climatic factors. Other factors are the topography, role of organic material and time taken for the composition of soil formation. Including that nature of the parent rock and climatic rock, other factors are topography, role of organic material and time taken for the composition of soil formation. All these differ from place to place. This is vary from one place to another. The topography, role of organic material and those are vary from one place to another. So let's see in this picture, factors affecting soil formation. So in this sketch we can find what are the factors affecting in the soil formation. First one is parent rock. Parent rock determines color, texture, chemical properties, mineral content and permeability. So the parent rock, it determines the color, texture, chemical properties, mineral content and permeability. So next one is relief. Altitude and slope determine accumulation of the soil. Next, flora, fauna and microorganisms affect the rate of humus formation. Next one, time determines the thickness of soil profile. How thickness the soil, it determines the time. Next, climate, temperature, rainfall influence, rate of weathering and humus. So climate means temperature, rainfall influence, rate of weathering and humus are the factors of soil formation. So I hope you all got this. Degradation of soil and conservation measures. So what are the conservation measures we can take to degradation of the soil? Soil erosion and depletion are the major threats to soil as a resource. Both human and natural factors can lead to degradation of the soil. So why? Because of the human and the natural factors also lead to degradation of the soil. Factors which lead to soil degradation are deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers or pesticides, rainwash, landslides and floods. What are the factors which leads to degradation are deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers or pesticides in agricultural field. Is it? Then rainwash, heavy rainfall. It is also leading the degradation of soil. Then landslides and floods. We already seen about that landslides and floods. So, come to the next point. It is some methods of soil conservation are. So, what are the methods we can use to conserve the soil? First one is mulching. What is mulching? The bare ground between plants is covered with a layer of organic matter like straw. It helps to retain soil moisture. Mulching means covering the soil on the surface layer with the organic matter like straw. The bare ground between plants is covered with a layer of organic matter like straw, leaves, etc. It helps to retain soil moisture. So, because of this, the soil will be moistured. So, it is important the mulching to soil degradation, to prevention the soil or conservation the soil. Counter barriers. What do you mean by counter barriers? Stones, grass, soil are used to build barriers along contours. Trenches are made in front of the barriers to collect water. So it is useful thing. Stones, grass, soil are used to build the barriers along the contours. So the trenches are also made in front of the barriers to collect the water. Next one is rock dam. Rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. This prevents gullies and further soil losses. Rock dams helps to prevent the gullies and further soil losses. The rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of the water. So those are the three types of conservation. Next one is terrace farming. What is terrace farming? These are made on the steep slopes so that flat surfaces are available to grow crops. In the steep slopes, we unable to grow the crops. So because of slopeness and it is unable to do any work in that farm. They can reduce surface runoff and soil erosion. So what we can do, the steep slopes to flat surface to available to grow the crops. In the figure 2.5 we can see terrace farming. This is the terrace farming. We can do this type of farming in the slopes. So it is very useful to grow the crops. So it conserve the soil. Next, intercropping. Intercropping means different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times to protect the soil from rainwash. So we have to grow different crops in alternative rows or it's on at different times to protect the soil from rainwash. Then counter ploughing. Ploughing parallel to the contours of a hill slope to form a natural barrier for water to flow down the slope. So in the figure 2.6 we can see this is the counter ploughing. So ploughing parallel to the contours of a hill slope. It is useful to conserve the soil. Next one, shelter belts. Shelter belts means in the coastal and dry regions, rows of trees are planted to check the wind movement to protect soil cover. So in figure 2.7 we can see the shelter belts. This is the shelter belts means what the rows of trees planted to check the wind movement to protect the soil cover. So this is these are the ways of conserving soil. First one is mulching, second one counter barriers, then rock dam, terrace farming, intercropping, counter ploughing and shelter belts. Okay, next come on to the next point. It is activity. An activity given in your textbook. Dear students, it is very easy. You can do in your home. Take two trays A and B of same size. Make 6 holes in the end of these trays and then fill them with the same amount of soil. Leave the soil in tray A bare while grow grass in a tray B. So what we have to do, two trays as a similar size and make 6 holes in each trace and leave the soil in a tray bare, and in another B tray you have to grow the grasses. Then when the grass in tray B has grown few centimeters high. Place both the trays in such a way that they are on a slope. See the picture. And pour 1 mug of water from the same height into trays. Collect the muddy water that trickles down the holes of both trays in 2 separate containers and compare how much soil is washed out of the each tray. So it is very easy. We can collect the mud, how much the soil is washed out in a bare tray and grassy tray. It is very interesting activity. Dear students, you have to do in your home. Next one is water. We know what is water, is it? It's very important resource. Water is a vital, renewable natural resource. 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. It is therefore appropriately called the water planet. Yes, it is. In our earth, 3/4 so what happened? 3/4 of the surface of the earth is covered by the water, is it? So that's why we call it the blue planet or water planet for our earth. So it was in the primitive oceans that life began almost 3.5 billion years back. So, and even today the oceans cover 2/3 of the earth's surface and support a rich variety of plant and animal life. So what the oceans cover 2/3 of the earth's surface, and it helps to and support a rich variety of plant and animal life. The ocean water is, however, saline and not fit for human consumption. Can we use the ocean water to drink? No, we can't. Why? It is saline water, salty water. We cannot use for the drinking or our household things. Fresh water accounts for only about 2.7%. We can have only 2.7% of fresh water to use for human beings. Nearly 70% of this occurs as ice sheets and glaciers in Antarctica, Greenland and mountain regions. In that 2.7% of fresh water, in that 70% of this occurs only in the ice sheets, glaciers in Antarctica, Greenland and mountain regions. We are unable to use that icy water. Is it? Can we drink the icy sheets and glaciers? No, we can't. Due to their location, they are inaccessible. Only 1% of fresh water is available and fit for human use. Let's see. The earth is water planet. It is a blue planet. So, but we having the water only 1% to human use. Is it? It is found as groundwater, as surface water in rivers and lakes, and as water vapor in the atmosphere. Where we can find that water, 1% of water, it found in the groundwater, and as a surface water in rivers, lakes, and water vapor in the atmosphere. Fresh water is therefore the most precious substance on earth. Water can neither be added nor subtracted from the earth. Its total volume remains constant. So the water volume remains constant, but its abundance only seems to vary because it is in constant motion, cycling through the oceans, the air, the land, and back again through the process of evaporation, precipitation and runoff. This, as you already know, is referred to as the water cycle. No, we all already know about the water cycle, is it? What is the water cycle? So the water, it runs through the evaporation, precipitation and the runoff, is it? These are water cycle. Humans use huge amounts of water not only for drinking and washing but also in the process of production. Is it? What are there? Water for using agriculture, industries, generating electricity through reservoirs of dams or the other usages. Is it? We are using the water for the purpose of agriculture, industry, generating electricity, drinking, washing, etc. Is it? Then, increasing population, rising demands for food and cash crops, increasing urbanization, and rising standards of living are the major factors leading to shortage in supply of fresh water, either due to drying up water sources or water pollution. So we know about we are having the shortage of water for our daily need. In the activity, we can see how many liters we are using the water. An average urban Indian uses about 135 liters of water every day. Use in liters per person per day. Drinking 3 liters. For cooking 4 liters. Bathing 20 liters. Flushing 40 liters. Washing clothes 40 liters. Washing utensils 20 liters. And gardening 23 liters. And total we are using 135 liters of the water each person in the urban areas. Next, problems of water availability. There is scarcity of water in many regions of the world. Most of Africa, West Asia, South Asia, parts of Western USA, Northwest Mexico, parts of South America, and entire Australia are facing shortages in freshwater supply. So see how we are facing the problems in the freshwater supply all over the world, in the Africa, West Asia, South Asia, parts of Western USA, Northwest Mexico, and parts of South America, and entire Australia facing that shortage of fresh water. Countries located in climatic zones most susceptible to droughts face great problems of water scarcity. Thus, water shortage may be consequence of variation in seasonal or annual precipitations, or the scarcity is caused by over exploitation and contaminations of water sources. So problems of we had seen about the problem where we have seen the world. Next one is conservation of water resources. How we conserve the water? Access to clean and adequate water sources is a major problem facing the world today. Steps have to be taken to conserve this dwindling resources. Even though water is a renewable resource, its overuse and pollution make it unfit for use. Discharge of untreated or partially treated sewage, agricultural chemicals, and industrial effluents in water bodies are major contaminants. What? Discharge of untreated or partially treated sewage and agricultural chemicals and industrial effluents in the water bodies. They pollute water with nitrates, metals, and pesticides. Yes, the human beings polluting the water with the nitrates, metals, and pesticides. Most of these chemicals are non-biodegradable and reach human bodies through water. So these chemicals were very dangerous for human beings. It reaches our bodies through the water. Water pollution can be controlled by treating these effluents suitably before releasing them in water bodies. So what we have to do? Control by treating these effluents suitably before releasing them in water bodies. Next, forest and other vegetation cover slow the surface runoff and replenish underground water. Water harvesting is another method to save surface runoff. What we can do? Water harvest to conserve the rainwater and to save the surface runoff. The canals used for irrigating fields should be properly lined to minimize losses by water seepage. Next, sprinklers effectively irrigate the area by checking water losses through seepage and evaporation. So, sprinkler also one of the important method. In the figure 2.9 we can see water sprinkler for the farm. In dry regions with high rates of evaporation, drip or trickle irrigation is very useful. So, what? Drip or trickle irrigation is very useful in the dry areas. The valuable water resource can therefore be conserved by adopting these means of irrigation. So, I hope you all got this topic. What is soil and conservation of the soil, factors of the soil formation, etc. And also the water and uses of water, how we are using the water, problems of water availability, conservation of water resources. So, answer the following questions. First one, what is soil? What are the major factors of soil formation? Explain any 3 methods of soil conservation. Suggest any 3 ways to conserve water. So, dear students, try to answer all these questions. Continue in the next class in part 3 of this unit. Thank you.